Hello and welcome back once again to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. In this video we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man retro carded Wave 2 and of course its Shocker. So straight into the review. First thing we get is a set of alternate hands. Now, the thing to note about these hands is that they don't come off at the wrist, they come off a little bit higher just above the gauntlets. Now they did tell us about this in the live stream when they announced these figures, and it's a very cool update. We also get two of these power effects that are not new. They're the effects that we've had with a whole bunch of other figures, but they work exceptionally well with Shocker. Now let's have a little look at the figure a bit closer. Personally, I think Hasbro absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one. I think this is a fantastic rendition of Shocker, just like he is in the comic books. Right down from the sculpting, to the moulding, the mask, everything about it. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love this figure. It's one of my favourites in the wave, and I think definitely my favourite villain in the wave. It's quite stiff, which is always not a bad thing. If I just put these effect pieces on, you can just kind of slide them over his hands there. And as I said, they just work exceptionally well with Shocker. There has been a previous version of Shocker, and he was one of the only figures that I did use these effects with on a more permanent basis. So you can see just how stiff mine is there. Just kind of get him into not a vanilla pose, but a bit of a different pose. And you can just see the effects work. They look like, you know, he's right out of the comic book there. Let me just move these pieces out of the way so you can just look at him in his entirety. But I really have very little to complain about when it comes to this guy. Shocker's always been one of my favourite characters in the comic books. There was just something very cool about him, and I just think they've done a really good job here. Now, if I just take these off, I'll see if I can, because he is quite stiff, I'll see if I can actually just change some of these. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to grab the previous version. Now, there was one previous version that did come out from Hasbro, but there was kind of two variants. There was a standard Shocker and like a Thunderbolt Shocker, and the difference was the emblem on his belt. So let me just grab my one. Now my one's just the standard Shocker. There we go. And I always thought that he looked really good, but when you actually stand him next to this new one, he doesn't look as good. Now the first notable difference is obviously the new one is pinless and the old one is not. And also the lines, the detailing on the old one is obviously coloured in, whereas on the new one it's not. Now I've seen a lot of people customise theirs and fill in the lines with like black marker or like a wash, but having him in hand, I don't feel that that's necessary. It's not something that I'm going to do, because the lines do stand out in the light. You can see even here under quite bright light, you can see the markings on him, and I think that it's just a nice detail. I don't think they need to be coloured in. When you actually put the two side by side, I think that the crosshair kind of markings look a little bit much on the older version. Now obviously he's a bit bulkier, this new version as well, and because he is pinless, he just looks a lot more kind of fluid, like the whole thing just works a bit better. Right down to the gauntlets look chunkier, and I think that it was a really good move on Hasbro's part to actually make the whole forearm removable. Because obviously you can see on the old one, the gauntlets don't look quite as dominating as they should do. You know, in the comic books they were these big kind of, you know, like they are on this figure here. And as you can see, it just pops in and off, on and off really easily. And you've got those kind of open hand options as well. I think I'll keep the closed fist on my one, just because that's obviously his kind of signature move. That's how he would kind of use his Shocker abilities. I'm just going to move him around a little bit so you can see how using an open palm one might work. But overall, I just think he's a really good figure. Really, really solid figure, and definitely worth picking up. If you see him in the stores, do grab him, because I'm pretty sure, much like a lot of these retro figures, he won't hang around for long. Now, let me just swap his hand over again and put the closed fist on, because that's definitely my hand of choice, my preference. If you just look here in the detail, just even in the boots, there's so much sculpting and detailing that's gone into the boots, into the kind of the leather of his costume. You can see here a bit closer, you know, the hatch markings are sculpted in there really nicely. The belt is really cool. The gauntlets are fantastic. As I said before, such a good move on Hasbro's behalf. But overall, just a really solid figure. Definitely pick one up. He's definitely my favourite villain of the wave, and possibly one of my favourite villains of the Spider-Man retro line as a whole. That's a big thing, but yeah, it's just a massive upgrade. But that is about it. If you're enjoying the 5-minute figure reviews, then please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. Do check out my channel because I have reviewed all of the other figures from the Marvel Legends Retro Spider-Man Wave 2. Until next time, catch you soon.